So, what could affordable housing in Bakersfield, the fight for pay equity, and a historic mission to the moon possibly have in common? Well, on the surface, maybe not a lot. But when you look closer, they're all pieces of the same puzzle. A snapshot of the challenges, the demands, and the incredible triumphs shaping Southern California right now. Let's connect the dots.
We're going to start with these words from Rita McCarn, a resident of Bakersfield. I mean, it is well with my soul. That's a beautiful way to put it, right? It's this feeling of profound peace. But what does it actually take for someone to get to that place of true contentment?
You know, for Rita, that feeling comes from something that many of us, let's be honest, probably take for granted. Just having a secure place to call home. And her story is really where our explainer begins today.
Okay, so this whole thing centers around a brand new development in Southeast Bakersfield. It's actually the very first housing project to be completed under a huge citywide initiative that's all about revitalizing neighborhoods that have been historically underserved.
This is it, the 610 4th Street Apartments. It's a 16-unit building just for seniors, and they built it right next door to the Bakersfield Senior Center. But this is way more than just housing. It's built with sustainability in mind, so it's got solar panels and super efficient water heaters. And that's not just for show. It directly lowers the utility bills for residents, which, in a place with scorching summer heat, is absolutely critical.
And this is where you really see the impact. Check this out. While the base rent is already set at a really affordable $673, for folks like Rita who qualify for a housing voucher, that cost plummets to just $375 a month. For so many people, that is literally the difference between constant, nagging worry and actual financial stability. And Lily Parker from the Senior Center just hits the nail on the head here. This isn't just about having a roof over your head, it's about dignity, it's about security. For seniors living on a fixed income, knowing you're not going to face an eviction, well, that's completely life-changing.
So that search for security, it really echoes in our next story. We're going to zoom out a bit now, from the stability found by one person to the huge systemic changes being demanded by an entire community. All right, take a look at this number. In the upcoming California governor's race, about a third of Black women voters say they are currently undecided. That is a huge and potentially decisive group of voters. But hold on, don't for a second mistake that indecision for apathy. Not even close. A massive 91% of these voters are planning to show up on Election Day. So this isn't a question of if they'll vote, it's a question of who has actually earned their vote. They are watching, and they are waiting to be convinced. And to really get why, you have to look at the economic reality staring them in the face. For every single dollar a white man earns in California, a Black woman earns just 60 cents. Now that's not just a statistic, it's a reality that shapes every single part of life, affecting everything from how you buy groceries to whether you can build wealth for the next generation.
And if you're wondering how long it might take to fix this, well, at the current rate of change, the wage gap between Black women and white men in California isn't projected to close until the year 2121. Yeah, you heard that right, a century from now. And the challenges go way beyond the paycheck. They run deep inside the workplace itself. Over half have experienced discrimination. 70% report microaggressions, those subtle daily slights. And get this, their promotion rate is the lowest of any gender race group in the whole state. The system, as one observer put it, just isn't built to move them forward.
You see how this all connects? This fight for economic justice is directly tied to another huge battle, the fight for healthcare access. Okay, get ready for this number. California's Medi-Cal program is facing potential annual cuts of up to $30 billion because of changes in federal funding. That is a staggering amount of money, and it puts the health of millions of people at risk. And as Senator Lola Smallwood-Cuevas points out, this is not some abstract debate about budgets. These cuts could directly hit over 1 million Black Californians who depend on Medi-Cal for their health care. So in response, community leaders have laid out a really clear roadmap. They want more than just promises. They're demanding enforceable pay equity, housing policies that are treated as a racial justice issue, real investment in maternal health, and clear pathways to leadership and economic mobility. This is the agenda they expect candidates to address. But it's not all struggle. Alongside this ongoing fight for change, we're also seeing these incredible, just jaw-dropping stories of triumph. Stories that completely redefine what's possible. Let's talk about Victor Glover. This guy, a Pomona native, recently made history. He's the first Black astronaut to ever pilot a lunar mission, which is a huge step in NASA's Artemis program. And back home, the impact was immediate.
It was profound. As one educator put it, simply, this is what representation looks like. Seeing someone from your own community literally reach for the moon, it changes the dreams of the entire next generation.
And you know, that same spirit of just shattering barriers, it wasn't only happening up in orbit. Thousands of miles away from space, on a basketball court in Phoenix, another historic moment was unfolding.
The UCLA women's basketball team put on an absolutely dominant performance to win their first ever NCAA national championship. I mean, they didn't just win, they controlled the entire game from tip-off, overpowering a total powerhouse in South Carolina.
But what makes this win so sweet is the story behind it. After a truly heartbreaking loss in the Final Four the year before, the team's seniors all decided to come back for one more season. They were driven by this promise to finish what they started. And boy, did they.
So when you take these two stories, Victor Glover and the UCLA Bruins, and you put them side by side, wow, the same powerful themes just jump right out at you. In the middle of all the systemic struggles, these are more than just feel-good stories. They are powerful acts of representation, they're about fulfilling a promise, and they're about inspiring every single person who comes after them.
From a new home in Bakersfield to a demand for equity, from a journey to the moon to a championship on the court, these stories give us a real snapshot of Southern California. And it kind of leaves you with this one big question, right? What truly defines a community? Is it the challenges it has to face, or is it the resilience, the determination, and the grace with which its people rise up to meet them?